Hi and welcome to this another episode of ECCB Connects. As we continue preparations for the rollout of the new EC Polymer Notes, Acting Director in the Currency Management Department, Rosbert Humphrey, answers some of the questions you may have regarding polymer. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
It's coming!
It's coming!
It's coming!
It's coming!
It's coming!
It's coming!
Rosbert, welcome again to ECCB Connects.
Thank you, Shamalan. It's my pleasure to be here once again.
We're continuing our discussion on polymer. We know that it's coming and it's coming soon. Remind us of the timeline for the rollout, please.
We will roll out the 50s in May or June this year, the 100s, the 20s, the 10s in about August, September this year, followed up with the 5s in August, September 2020.
Why the staggered approach to the rollout?
Well, this is based on the level of stock that we have in our vault, right? In May or June, we anticipate that the 50s, the cotton, the paper 50s, the stock would be depleted. So we would just continue the process of issuing this time, using polymer.
In our last discussion, you mentioned that one of the reasons the ECCB is moving to polymer is durability. What's the lifespan of a polymer note?
Polymer banknotes are expected to last about 3 times longer than paper banknotes, right? But this is dependent on the denomination. For example, the paper 5s that we have in circulation right now would last about 6 to 9 months.
That's short.
Very right, because this is the one that is most in circulation. This is one that is mostly used, by the population. So the polymer $5 banknotes are expected to last 18 to 27 months.
One of the key features of the polymer notes is the tactile feature for the blind and visually impaired. Remind us of these features.
Well, the tactile feature are some raised bumps that are on the notes. They form shapes that the blind and visually impaired persons can relate to. They can feel and know which denomination they have, in their possession. So we have a circle on the 5, we have an X on the 10s, and the X is easy to remember because that's the Roman numeral for 10, right? We have a rectangle on the 20, a triangle on the 50s, and a square on the 100s.
Okay. Why these shapes and not Braille?
Well, Shamalan, we recognize that in the Eastern Caribbean, not many blind and visually impaired persons can read Braille. So it would have been a disadvantage to them if we actually put Braille on the banknotes because, they wouldn't recognize what the features are, what the bumps are. So we decided to put something that the blind and the visually impaired persons, as a matter of fact, the general public can relate to, easily relate to. Hence the different shapes. As
you mentioned, general public. So these shapes then, they also have usefulness for the sighted, not just...
Of course, because, imagine yourself in a dark area. You don't really want to expose all your cash to take out a particular denomination. You can just feel and know what denomination they have, even if in dark areas or dimly lit areas.
So these tactile features work for everyone?
Everybody.
These raised bumps, will they flatten over time?
No, they wouldn't flatten over time. The banknotes are made from polymer. Polymer is a thin, transparent plastic film made from polypropylene. Polypropylene is just a versatile, complex plastic. Now, by virtue of that, the material has memory, right? So these bumps, they tend to, they are able to withstand any kind of pressure, and they wouldn't flatten out at all.
With respect to the size of the polymer notes, is the size the same as the current note?
Yes, the size is still the same, 145 by 69 millimeter. Still the same as the paper banknotes. However, I just want to remind the public that the orientation would be different. The notes would now be vertically oriented as opposed to horizontal with the current banknotes.
One of the main concerns members of the public have raised is what will happen to the note if it gets tumbled in the washing machine accidentally?
We don't expect any damage to the banknotes if it's tumbled in the washing machine. It might just get fold or some slight creases, but we don't expect any major damage to the banknotes.
What about the dryer?
We do not expect any damage to the banknotes if they are placed in the dryer. Although the notes have been tested to withstand temperatures of up to 140 degrees Celsius, if you leave the banknotes exposed to heat and such high temperatures for an extended period of time, it would compromise the features. So it depends on how hot that dryer is, or how long you actually leave the banknotes in the dryer, right? Another thing too, we do not want persons to crumple the banknotes, right, or crease those acute creases to the banknotes, right? Like I said before, the banknotes, they have, the polymer banknotes, they have memory, so those creases and crumples tend to, you know, be in the banknotes almost permanently and can cause the banknotes to be unfit for circulation in quick time. All right, we do not want persons to iron the banknotes, right? Unlike the paper banknotes, I mean, these notes will be damaged. You would definitely need an iron and a banknote if that has to happen, right? It will compromise the features of the banknote.
Because we know some people iron the current paper notes to get them smooth and stiff, or if they get wet.
Don't try it with polymer.
Rosbert, you mentioned crumpling and creasing of the polymer notes. We know that individuals tend to fold their monies, put it in their wallets, fold, put it in their pocket. Is that going to be an issue with polymer notes?
No, it wouldn't be at all. The folding actually gives the banknote just a bend, something like this, right? So this is okay, right? So the use of wallets, the use of money clips, I mean, it would be okay for the...
No damage to the note.
No damage to the note. It would be okay with the polymer banknote. What we're trying to discourage, right, is the acute folding. Persons do something like this. And like I said before, polymer banknotes, they have memory. So these will be retained in the banknotes, right? And these lines can tend to be, you know, like permanent in the banknotes and make the banknote unfit for circulation. Now, if this has to be done on a regular basis, it can cause damage to the banknotes and, you know, compromise the integrity of the banknotes.
But if somebody gives a soft fold and put it in a pocket, no problem.
That is quite okay.
So Rosbert, polymer, it's coming, and it's coming soon. Are the commercial banks, other financial institutions, and businesses ready for this transition?
Yes, Shomalan, they will be ready. We have been having discussions with the commercial banks, the credit unions, even vending machine operators, right? Digicel, Flow, who have, you know, kiosk. In terms of bill payment and top-ups. So we'll be having discussions with them. So they do not require new machines, right? All that is required is to recalibrate the machines to accept or to dispense polymer banknotes. So we will be providing exemplar notes to these institutions, commercial banks, credit unions, and other institutions, right? So they can test their machines, right, ahead of the launch of polymer banknotes.
And specifically for the banks, their ATMs.
Exactly, the ATMs in particular, right? The commercial banks and the credit unions, and even the vending machine suppliers.
Rosbert, thank you very much for speaking with us again on ECCB Connects.
Thank you very much, Shomalan. And yes, polymer, it's coming.
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 To view any episode of ECCB Connects anytime, any place, at your convenience, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn at ECCB Connects. And now, this week's financial tip.
Are you living within your means? If you constantly find yourself needing credit
to get you to the next payday,
you are living beyond your means.
Here's where we end this week's episode of ECCB Connects. Is there a topic you'd like us to cover? Send us a message. The information is at the bottom of your screen. Remember, ECCB Connects is produced by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank to share with you who we are, what we do, and how we serve you. Join us again next week for another program.